Hello, everyone. So this is going to be Crypt the NecroDancer. I'm going to do the introductions real quick because there's a lot of stuff that happens real fast. So let's just get the introductions out of the way. I'm RooseSR. I'm going to be running Crypt for you guys. Couch, you want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Smashing.
I'm Speaker. I was just up, so.
All right, and so we're going to do the Cadence, who is the standard character, and we're going to do all zones, which we'll get into explaining in just a minute. So our seed that we're going to do here is going to be Dallas, of course. So time is going to start when I press enter, so I'll give a countdown. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this is Crypt the NecroDancer. This is a rhythm-based roguelike. I think most people know what roguelikes are, but just in case you're a little bit behind, there's, I think, 2 important characteristics to roguelikes to keep in mind. The first is that the layouts are all going to be randomly generated, so I have to explore around and figure out what everything is going to be, where all the items are, for the first time every time I see a new seed. And the second thing is permanent death. So if I take a death in this run, I lose all my items, all my equipment, have to start completely over at the beginning again. Now the rhythm-based part, you can kind of see that everything seems to be taking place in time with the music. That's because the best way to think of this game is that it's essentially turn-based, but a turn takes place on every beat of the music. Oh wow, so that's an incredible item
Electric
to find
Dagger
at the beginning.
is huge.
Yeah.
So you guys can talk a little bit about items, but just know that that's one of the best weapons in the game that I just found. Chipsel was ahead, right?
Yep.
So to put it simply, weapons they have different reaches with every weapon. So for example, the Greatsword will swing 3 tiles in front of you, well, 3 tiles horizontally across in front of you. The Electric Dagger is huge because essentially it's a 1-tile reach, but also it chains. So as you're able to see here, it's chaining between enemies every time he hits one.
Do you want me to go ahead and explain how it works, how the game works?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the goal of the game, there's 5 zones total, 20 levels plus the final boss, and at the end of each zone, we battle a boss as well. But the goal is to reach the staircase in each level, but there is a mini-boss for each level that you must kill to get access to the stairs.
Another way to drop down level also is through the trapdoors, like one you just dropped through,
Yep.
which if you haven't killed the boss yet, you'll be dropped into a pit with a bunch of enemies. So Heavy Metal here is an example of one of the bosses. They have different beat layouts depending on which boss you're fighting. So for example, Death Metal is extremely fast-paced beats. So his whole shtick is essentially hitting his shield will spawn bats, but if you flank him, you'll be able to damage him. And later on, he'll shoot fire from his sides, or summon skeletons. So because Bruce beat him without taking a hit or missing a beat, he gets extra chests at the end, so he can take his pick of 3 kinds of chests. Ring of Regen is really nice.
Especially for marathon safety, the Ring of Regen just means that every time I finish a level, I'm going to get a heart back. So it's really, really good for helping clean up those little incidental bits of damage you take here and there.
Carrot is also kind of nice. Essentially, it reveals, I forget exactly, it reveals most of the level, it reveals the level layout, doesn't it? Yep.
Yes, it does, so I can only carry 1 item of recovery food, and because this cheese actually heals more hearts, and I'm already at full health, I went ahead and just spent the carrots to get a look at the layout of the level. And here's another fantastic item coming up, actually. This is a great start to the seed.
Yeah, map is extremely good.
So this is Zone 2. The gimmick to this one is there's a lot of secret rooms, so he'll be looking for some bombs for the end of the game and to blow up some walls.
Yeah, bombs are particularly good, both because, like she said, you can break open walls and things like that, but also you really want to have 3 of them at the end of the run because they speed up your NecroDancer fight by quite a bit. Also,
Blinky, you missed it there. Banshee, essentially once you hit her, you're practically deafened to the music, so it's much harder to play against her. But as he took her down so quickly, it didn't really matter.
And his weapon's very good.
Oh yeah, his weapon is extremely good.
Yeah, Electric Dagger is absolutely a top-tier weapon, so to find it in the first zone is just, like, unbelievably good.
In fact, you found a good batch of 4 bombs here, so you're pretty well set.
Yeah, we're already, like, sitting pretty for equipment almost. Go ahead.
All right, so we got actually 3 donations in. One $10 donation by 40-watt range. We have a $5.78 donation by OG Andy Russ here. I'm guessing I have to read that backwards, but either way.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. I completely screwed that up. But fortunately, because this is a seeded run, I get to start back over with everything that I've already seen.
Yep.
So we already know where to grab those important items.
Yeah, as you can see, it's very easy for everything to go quickly downhill because for every beat miss is essentially skipping a turn as well. And also, just in general, enemies hit very hard later in the zones. Because now I think about it, you didn't actually get any armor up until that point, did you?
No, I was still on my 3 hearts plus no armor. So even with the regen, you're still vulnerable to getting one shot like I did there. That's part of the game, though, so
And
just
what
got to
the
deal with
estimate
it.
was higher. Yeah. It happens.
At least we can know everything up ahead of you is rather good.
Is this a safer area, or?
Yes and no. The earlier zones tend to have weaker enemies, but at the same time, you also have a much weaker build. So, you know, sometimes by the time you get to the end, you just have such an amazing build that you can just completely walk over everything with no troubles.
All right, gotcha. I'm just gonna wait for your signal then. I don't want to. For the donations.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah,
we just got to
okay.
get back to where we were.
All right. So $5.78 by OG Indrasir, who says, "Good luck, Roos and Smashy." And then we have Yasashimi with the $75 donation, who says, "Roos, my man, sorry I couldn't be there to be the best cheerleader on your couch. I'm super happy that you get to showcase this game at such a great event. Keep the beat and kick ass." Well, thank you, Yasashimi.
I want to be super sure to get the flawless here because I really want that ring of regen. Okay,
Alright,
there we
so
go.
I didn't want to say anything. So, also just for clarity, the Ring of Peace that you picked up earlier is essentially just an extra heart container, but also you get less enemy spawns. Actually, it's less enemy spawns than...
It's the mini bosses are the weakest level.
Yeah, so it's deceptive. The thing says there's fewer enemies, but that's
Yeah.
actually like a leftover from the alpha, I think. What it does is it makes all the mini bosses their weakest form.
Actually learn something new every day.
Did you explain the monocle by chance?
I did not,
Okay.
no.
So what the monocle does is he can see the map through crates and barrels and chests.
Essentially, it's just being able to see the items that are inside items.
Yes.
Definitely going to pick up this map. As you can see on the bottom right, there's a mini map, and now that I've gotten that, it actually shows me the entire layout as soon as I get into any level. I'm going to go ahead and skip that bomb because I know after having died that there's a whole bunch on this floor. All right, so this time let's not get ourselves cornered by that Minotaur. We'll take this part a little bit slower since this is where we died last time. Fortunately, have great weapons for dealing with all this. Just got to be careful not to get yourself cornered. All right, so let's bait this guy out and actually fight him correctly this time. There we go. Okay, so once he's dead, we can just go ahead and hop down the trapdoor. There's no penalty. Because the mini boss is dead, we don't get trapped into the little fight room.
Oh, a glass longsword. I see that.
I think we'll go ahead and keep the electric dagger. Okay, this is a great find. This is the food shop. So this is a secret shop where you get offered food and an empty heart container. But if you kill the shopkeeper, as I just did there, you get a cool item called the Gluttony Charm, where if you eat enough food that it actually would heal you past your maximum, you just get to keep that as permanent health. So you can see I just shot up to 7 max HP. And actually, I see some really good armor over in the shop here, too. So we might be killing 2 shopkeepers on the same floor here, because I can't afford it. But this is a good enough build that I think it's worth killing the shopkeeper for. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this. Got some great healing, got lots of health, right?
That golem.
Ring of Regen, yeah. We've got just like everything we need now.
No Crown of Greed. Aw. I can't quite remember what Fortissimo's gimmick was, but I can tell you that he's very slow pace compared to some of the others in that he's like just a burrow towards you into a AoE.
So basically you just have to kill the skeletons in front of him to make him come off the stage.
I highly encourage everyone to go and listen to his song on YouTube because you kill him so fast you won't get to hear it, but it's incredible.
Yeah, Fortissimo is one of the best boss songs.
So what he just picked up was a Nazar charm. So if you noticed, there was a lot of like random enemies coming out of walls.
Yeah, these little tiny wisp enemies have been showing up. They'll no longer show up because he gives them his Nazar charm.
Oh man, he's gonna go
By the way,
a million miles. Okay, well, unfortunately, he's gonna go on a vacation there. So we'll just kind of clear out the enemies around here while we wait for him to come back.
So something of note, now that we're in a fire and ice level, half the level is fire, half the level is ice. The music will change depending on which area you're in by different,
So
I don't
here's a
explain
really
it
good spell.
besides different tempo, kind of.
They have a little bit of a different tune.
Yeah. So basically, the way the fire tiles work is that if you end a turn standing on it without moving, you'll take damage. And if you step on ice, you'll essentially be forced to slide in that direction until you get off ice.
Okay, so here's the ghost of the shopkeeper back for revenge. He comes back exactly one floor later, so we have to take him out. But now that he's gone, we won't have to worry about him anymore. So because, as you can see, this Zone 3 is so wide open, it's quite easy to get yourself swarmed by enemies here. But fortunately, with all this armor and this, with this Ring of Regen, we're pretty good at tanking a lot of damage here. I also got myself...
Oh, that's Beryl, actually.
You know what? We're just going to vomit. I'm not going to bother trying to get it on that thing. So what that way we just picked up was magic food. When it glows purple like that, it does the same thing as that gluttony charm where you get to, if you eat more than your maximum, you actually just get to keep it as permanent heart. So we're now actually at our game's maximum of 10 health. So
You're actually extremely tanky.
yeah, no, between this excellent armor and 10 health, like this is almost as tough as you can possibly be.
So King Kong is interesting here because essentially he's the one enemy, he's the one boss that has dead zones in his beat. So essentially moving, he has this large stop where you can't do anything for a while.
So yeah, every 8 beats.
Yeah, it's
stop.
extremely easy to mess up because of it.
I just want to make a quick announcement, and it's only fitting because it's King Konga. We have just unlocked the Bid War for Save or Kill the Animals.
Nice. Okay, so this is Zone 4. Zone 4 is, in a lot of ways, it's the trickiest zone. It's very straightforward in terms of the mapping. Well, that was funny.
That was interesting teleport.
So the enemies all do very unusual things. They have a lot of like cool defensive techniques. So that purple monkey that grabbed me, for example, he will teleport you to a random square, which happened to be like the same square I came from.
Yeah, this zone also has like a lot of diagonal movement from enemies.
Yeah, that bomb-carrying goblin moves only diagonally. If he moves directly into you, he'll explode.
So there's 2 enemies in particular I want to note. That golem that I just fought, the first time you hit him, you... Oh no, blew up the... he got away in time. Unfortunate. So the big golems, the first time you hit them, they drop green goo under your feet and you get shrunk, which means you actually can't attack or dig walls, and you take extra bonus damage. So if you get yourself stuck on or surrounded while you're on goo, like you're pretty much game over almost immediately. Even this tanky, I could still die.
So something to pay attention to here is, depending on what the statue actually is that you're passing, like those ones that you just went by, one had an item inside of it, one of them exploded. Depending on what statue you pass, they can do different, or they have different effects, like pushing you away or etc.
Fortunately, I've got just a ridiculously tanky build. I don't think we've talked about spells at all. The way they work is when you get your spell, you can see it in the top right corner there. I have a freeze spell and a shield spell right now. You can activate them once for free, and then after that, you have to kill a certain number of enemies before you can use the spell again, or you can spend some health. Now, fortunately, because I have so much health and I have these, I have the Ring of Regen, I can kind of just spam these spells, and even if I take damage, you know, I'm just going to get it back quite quickly. So if I use these as a way to, like, get through zones faster, it's definitely worth the cost.
Electric Dagger on Deep Blues is amazing.
Oh, that was cheating.
So that boss that you just didn't get to see pretty much was Deep Blues. He's a chess-based boss. All of his pieces actually move just like real chessboard pieces would. And you have to kill the king, but because we were able to use the Electric Dagger to hit him even though he's hiding, we were pretty much able to bypass the entire like gimmick of the run, or of the boss. So you can see, like, I'm just going to like turn on my spells, spend health to use them, and then just like walk straight for the exit here. This build is like as good as you can possibly hope for.
So,
it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, the gimmick with this level is actually that the like power conduit that you're seeing that he's walking across gives him essentially the same effect as Electric Dagger would, but constant. And in fact, the electric zombies are walking across. You're normally supposed to, you have to knock them off, but because he's Electric Dagger, he can just attack them and kill them.
Yeah.
And even better, so like even if I didn't have Electric Dagger, I would get an electric effect while standing on it. But if you do happen to have Electric Dagger, your attacks do infinite damage while you're standing on it.
Wow.
I don't know that part.
Nice.
All right, so this is the boss before the final boss. He's quite deadly. He's going to have 4 bells here in the middle, and either he or I have to ring all of them, and then once that happens, a gong will spawn on the north side, and I have to get him to rush his way into it, which, there we go. Get ourselves the Flawless. He does a ton of damage when he hits you. We're going to skip all those. All right, so on to the NecroDancer. We actually get to control 2 characters at once here. This is Dorian. This is my character's dad. He's going to help us out with the fight. There's 2 phases here. The NecroDancer and the Golden Loot weapon are up on stage, and we have to use bombs to dig out him and the loot. Now, the loot is actually the only way to damage the NecroDancer, so we have to pick this up with Cadence and just kind of chase him down while he's trying to run away from us. And he's going to, cast spells and summon more enemies and things like that. Yes, so once he dies, there's going to be a stairway that spawns on the upper side of the room, and time will be when I jump into that. I will give you a heads up that it's coming. So he's got 6 hits here. We just kind of have to charge at him over and over, and hopefully that he teleports in friendly ways.
These are actually pretty good spawns.
Yeah. You also have to be very mindful that your dad doesn't also die as well. You have to be very careful about that, because not only can he not hurt the NecroDancer, but if he dies, it's all over.
All right, time's coming up in 3, 2, 1, time.
Very nice.
All right, thank you so much for watching, guys. So there's a lot to explain in this run and not a whole lot of time to do it, so I'm sure we didn't do it justice. I highly recommend anybody check out this game. And definitely big shout outs to the speedrunning community for this. Incredibly friendly, incredibly welcoming, and super helpful. So if you're interested in this game, definitely check it out. Thank you so much to my couch for commentary. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for all of you to be here. We really appreciate it. It's always, we had quite a bit of submissions, and it came down to the wire to like who we could keep, and we did try to give runs to as many people as possible. But just the fact that all of you is showing so much support and just excitement over this event is very humbling to us. So thank you for being here with us. And
thank you for taking my run. I love it.
I mean, it's an amazing game. I mean, and honestly, when are you submitting this on a DDR mat?
That would make an amazing submission. One more shout out. If nobody's looked at it, I recommend you look up Cadence of Hyrule. It's made by the same devs as this, similar gameplay, but it's going to be Zelda themed. It's going to be so good. Please check that out.
Oh God, this is going to be great. Well, I mean, also, while you were running, I was afraid to try and read some submissions because I know this run is quite, like, it requires a lot of serious time because of the timing and everything. It's kind of hard to. So, but we had 2 more donations that I didn't read. We had $20 from David TKI, who said it's turbo time, which took us to the Smash TV run being unlocked, the turbo mode run. And we're going to have another $10 by Trojan Dude, who says, yo, good luck, Roos. Please get death metal last boss.
Oh, good. No, we got him first, boss.
There you go.
And he's tough with low damage. All right, thank you so much to everybody.
All right, thanks. So everybody stay tuned. We're going to be right back with VVV or whatever. I don't know. But that game, 100% with hopefulness. Amazing game. And if you're prone to seizures, please do not watch this run. Thank you.